If you find yourself feeling resentful, but not sure why, exhausted, but unable to pinpoint what's been draining you, there's something I want you to consider. Something I see time and time again in women that accounts for hidden resentment and low grade continuous exhaustion. And it's something that you likely haven't considered, but it's worth considering. And that is that somewhere along the way, you learned to abandon yourself. And before you think, well, Jody, that's a bit dramatic. Okay. Let me explain what I'm talking about here. Okay. So most women don't abandon themselves by making like these grandiose or reckless choices. They abandon themselves by being good. Okay. By being responsible, by being accommodating, by being the strong one, by being low maintenance. Okay. You silence your needs, you discredit your wants, you disconnect from your desires, not because your needs, wants, and desires don't matter, but because somewhere along the way, it felt safer to abandon them. Okay. So let me give you an example of how this happens. So, as a child, in your formative years, even in your teens and early adulthood, you were tasked with responsibilities or experiences that were far heavier than a child, a youth, or young adult has the mental, emotional, and physical ability to handle. Okay, you know what those things are. So you adapted. You developed survival strategies to cope. You became the good girl, the responsible one, the fixer, the peacekeeper, the achiever, the overachiever, the one who made sure everyone else was okay. Okay. To do this, you had to disconnect from your feelings, from your needs, from your desires. You had to abandon yourself. Maybe you learned it was safer to not rock the boat. It was safer to keep the peace. It was safer to be last. You adapted, right? And those adaptations, they worked until they didn't, because self abandonment compounds. So it looks like saying yes when you really want to say no. It means staying quiet when you're actually angry. It means saying you're fine when you're really hurting. And every time you override yourself, your self trust weakens just a little bit. Okay, just a little more. And that's when life starts to feel hard, starts to feel heavy, starts to feel unlived. That's when you start feeling resentment and exhaustion. So here's what it is important to know, okay? You didn't abandon yourself because you're flawed or broken. You are not flawed or broken, okay? You abandoned yourself because you were trying to survive something. But you are not trying to survive anymore, okay? You are wanting to live. And living requires self loyalty, it requires choosing yourself. So here's a question I want to ask. I want you to ask yourself, okay? Just to consider, to begin like becoming aware, to begin undoing that self-abandonment. So this is the question I'd like to pose to you, to offer you. To ask yourself, where am I saying yes when something in me wants to say no? Okay. Where am I saying yes when something in me wants to say no? Okay. So I want you to just notice. I want you to consider it. I want you to let that question percolate in your mind. Okay. We're not trying to fix or change anything. The first step is simple awareness. Okay. Because you cannot choose yourself until you see where you've been leaving yourself behind. Okay. So that's the question I want to offer you right now. Where am I saying yes when something in me wants to say no? Okay. Just give yourself the gift of that self awareness so that you are able to begin to choose yourself, because now you're able to see where you're leaving yourself behind. Okay. If this is resonating deeply with you, if you can feel the pattern of self abandonment that is underneath the resentment and the exhaustion, this is exactly the work that we do inside my signature group program, Magnificence Circle. We don't shame survival strategies, we understand them, and then we gently release what no longer serves and rewrite what does. So if you're ready for more than reflection, if you want like guided support rebuilding self-trust from the inside out, check out the show notes for the link to join the Magnificent Circle if the doors are open, or get on the wait list to be the first to know when the doors open again, and I'll look for you inside.